When you think St. Louis, are these the images you see? Well, Renegade Tours wants to change that by showing you the hidden gems of the city.
When people sign up for a tour, they should expect to laugh a little bit.
So when that Louisiana Purchase happens, we are suddenly part of a different government, a different country. You can imagine if tomorrow we woke up and they said, oh, somebody else is your governor, someone else is in charge of you.
Well, that did actually happen.
Wait.
So that is a bad example.
Wait a minute.
They should expect to go places they've never been before.
There are 7 of these standpipe water towers left in the United States. St. Louis has 3 of them.
And see a side of the city that they've never seen before.
I call this like the holy crap street because the architecture is beautiful. There is a lot of beautiful detailing, a lot of good artisanship, and little details on the buildings that you don't see in those neighborhoods we're all used to seeing. We're rogue, we're different. I mean, Renegade is someone who isn't afraid to do something different, isn't afraid to fail, isn't afraid to take a chance. I'll do Steamboats on Fire. You do color. Okay.
Our favorite parts of giving tours and kind of the Renegade side of things is giving tours to people who have lived in St. Louis for, say, 20 years, and they say it every single time, so we hear it all the time, but it's great, I've never been here before.
There are numerous options for tours.
Whole Damn City Tour.
Ye Olde, North St. Louis.
Disasters and Catastrophes.
Meet Your Maker.
Forest Park Renegade Style.
Central West End for Nerds.
Cheers to Soulard.
Downtown Architecture Extravaganza Spectacular.
But no matter what tour you choose, come prepared.
The city is so glad to have you and show you its best side today. So in typical St. Louis fashion, where the weather is totally unpredictable, we go renegade with the weather and we give our tours in rain, sleet, snow, or shine. So Amanda's rule for that is basically just do what your mom told you, and we'll see you for the tour.
Yep.
The #1 goal is to have fun, and then if you also learn a little something, that's an added bonus. It's not just about the Arch, or it's not just about Forest Park. Maybe we'll go there, but we'll tell you a story about it that you've never heard. We'll sort of reinvent the classic pieces of St. Louis, but then we'll also take you to those places that you've never been before and that you never even dreamed could exist. Sometimes when you hear, like, I'm going on a historical tour of the city, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going on a 2-hour nap, right? And we don't want to do that, because history can be fun, it can be interesting and engaging, and also matter. In May of 1855, a free woman of color named Mary Meacham was attempting to help a group of enslaved St. Louisans cross the Mississippi River into Illinois to their freedom. They made it about halfway across the river, and they were unfortunately discovered, and she was arrested. The enslaved persons were taken back to their enslavers, and they were unsuccessful in their endeavors. So when we talk about and think about the Underground Railroad, unfortunately for historians, much of its history, its really rich, deep history, is lost. The reason why we know about this place and its role in abolitionist movements is because it was publicized. It was recorded in the newspaper that this woman was helping this group of people cross the river. And there were a number of prominent St. Louisans who had slaves that were attempting to escape in this move. So Henry Shaw, the benefactor of the Missouri Botanical Gardens, was one name that sort of came up in connection with this. So it was quite scandalous that these prominent, rich, well-known St. Louisans were also wrapped up in this event.
It's just really the real history of the city, because the city has such an amazing history. This is the largest pasta manufacturer in North America, right here. Who knows, other than the pasta thing, what happened here? What giant St. Louis history thing and massive American history thing happened right here? So ironclads were built at James Buchanan Eads shipyards. So we're all familiar with the Eads Bridge. So the Eads Bridge, sexiest bridge in town. But James Buchanan Eads made several fortunes, and he did several great things. And then his friend calls him and he says, Jimmy, my friend, Civil War happening, we think you could help us out. And you should build some ironclad boats. for the Army. And so he comes down to Carondelet, he buys what was an existing shipyard, and right here where we're standing was this massive shipyard works where they built these ironclad boats and they would let them, onto the river and send them down. And that gives the Union Army an advantage on the Mississippi River. That happened here. History happened right here, like big, huge, giant history. On Hickory Street down there is the house that Maya Angelou lived in. Every tour we give is different. It's a different group of people, therefore it's a different tour. And what matters to that group of people is what we talk about. And we pick a lot of stories from people that are on the tours. Here. If you're on the tour, we want to hear your story too. It's not just about listening to us talk. And so we put all of those things together.
After taking one of these offbeat and original tours, participants can't help but gain a deeper appreciation for the city.
The heart of Renegade is that love of St. Louis. This gorgeous city that just blows people's minds when you actually get out and see it.